They're either avoiding the thing that they're really called to, or they know that the thing that they've been pursuing isn't the right one. Hello, welcome to Coach Grid. My name is Joe Spearden, here as always with Kirsten Davis. And our special guest today is Shawnee Jarman. How are you, Shawnee?
Good. Thank you for
So excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shawnee's joining us from Arizona. And this is our first time meeting in person, but we feel like family because we've had so much experience together and been able to do so much together already. So I think to start, Shawnee, we'd love to just kind of hear a really brief synopsis of who you are, what brought you into the Coach Grid world, and kind of what your experience has been thus far as we've moved in, and we'll start to talk about how we've navigated all of that together.
Okay. Shawnee Jarman, originally from Iowa, live in Gilbert, Arizona, have 8 children, single mom, love my life. I met Joe through a mutual friend, and she just intuitively felt like we would be a good match she didn't even know. And then we ended up being a good match. And then you introduced me. You, at the beginning, we weren't even talking Coach Grid. We were just coaching together.
Yeah.
And then you had been talking about some of the other stuff you and Kirsten were doing. And I'm like, tell me more. And then I still don't know exactly what it is, but I go a lot of feeling. Like I just have a feeling about it. Like and it keeps propelling me forward to keep moving forward with you guys. So that's
beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that for a lot of new businesses and us at the beginning was us figuring out what it is that we do and how it is that we're going to go about doing that. And I think the way that we define it now is business strategy and tech ops. So we've been able to talk a lot about strategy in business, and we're going to talk about some of that today. And then providing all of the tech to make that business not just executable, but like that it's not going to bury you and overwhelm you. And,
yes.
Some of that stuff. So, and it's been so great being able to work together and having you come in and introduce us to even more people. In that space, we initially started talking about coaching. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we talk a lot about on this podcast is like finding a space and sticking with it for a while.
Yes. And
building momentum in that space. And you were initially talking about coaching, and we went through quite a bit of the process in creating your coaching program and platform. And then from your perspective, like, and speaking from your feeling state, what shifted in you because let me preface this. Oftentimes when people want to shift away from something into something else, it's for one of two reasons. They're either avoiding the thing that they're really called to, or they know that the thing that they've been pursuing isn't the right one. And both of those can be really challenging and bring up a lot of like second guessing and feeling around that. So what was that experience like for you in moving out of coaching into what we're going to talk about soon?
So I worked for about 8 years in a transformational healing facility as a coach, and I loved it. And one of the greatest themes that we had in that facility was grief in every capacity. Loss of a loved one, divorce, like just all of it. There's just so much grief that we worked with. And so I felt really confident in the grief spot. Well, I'm also a registered nurse, and we shut our doors with coaching. I was a psychiatric nurse for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And then I became a hospice nurse. And I sat at these people's bedside with the patients and the family and recognized that I did more of my work outside of the bedside with the patients and more so the family, because they didn't know how to process grief. And then I was in a meditation one time. This was probably about 4 years ago, before I even became a hospice nurse. And I was in a meditation, and I just had this download of do a grief box, like a coaching, and do the exercises that you've been utilizing with all of your patients, I confuse my patients and my clients all the time, but I can use grief with the grief boxes with clients and then my patients and the patient's family. But that's what I noticed the most in the hospice environment, is that people just don't know how to process grief. Nobody teaches us that.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches us that when somebody dies, that you can express feelings and cry. And I'm a real big believer of, if you shove things down and you don't deal with them, emotions, they come back at you later. Yeah. Whether it's lower back pain, hip pain, knee pain, it comes back with you. It settles somewhere if you don't get rid of it. So these exercises in the coaching boxes they're to help you process through grief. And there's a whole bunch of subliminal stuff in there to help you process or heal through grief that you don't even know. And we can talk more about that. But that's how I got into the coaching world. I worked for the Transformational Healing Facility, loved it. I love working with people. But I felt like in my time of life right now, I wanted to step back from the coaching world and not be so much in the trenches. But then I feel like I can get a broader audience with the grief boxes, and just the fact that I can help somebody process through grief in their own personal environment on their own time when nobody's watching them that's what I want to do. I want people to be able to move through that stuff.
Right.
Because it's devastating.
And I think one of the things that I've experienced, and I know Kirsten has experienced, is after you've spent some time in the world of coaching, you start to notice patterns just in that culture.
Yes.
And you notice the good that's there. You notice we'll call it the misalignment that's there, the places where we play that out, but then other people as well. And I think it's a very natural transition to say, I now want to provide something for end users, for clients, for people that are in that process, but also for coaches.
Yes.
And so you're now providing resources and tools that as a coach that you needed and kind of self-discovered, but then also did that. So tell me, what's Coach Grid been able to do for you through that process?
You take all the Instagram and Facebook and you put it in one area. So I'm not having to go to Instagram and Facebook and look at all the messages. It just comes into one spot. That in itself is like, and I don't know if anybody else does that or if that's just your guys' niche, just having you two like to guide us. And you're just so workable with, like, you're just so easy. You guys answer I don't even know. You have to put you guys in front. Like, you guys should record an actual session that you do with us, like on the Monday call or whatnot, because I don't think you guys realize, do you ever go back and watch them?
I do sometimes.
You guys should.
I never do.
You have taken a very overwhelming process and made it very simple.
And I actually love your answer to this right now, because I think this is what you get when you come into our world is, like she's saying, we offer the coaching, the emotional support, helping you move through blocks or develop the muscle that you need to develop. But when it comes to the tech, you don't have to know what's happening.
No, you just call
I don't know what you did. She's like, I
have no idea.
And that's exactly why I'm like, I love this, because that means she has like a full website, backend system, payment system, like everything that she needs to. We had built it for the coaching side, and then she was like, you know what, I want to pivot. And so now we've developed that for this more physical product side. But I love the way that you're describing this, because I'm like, that means we've done our job well.
Well, and just the fact that I've never even met you two until today, right? And I feel like you guys are my friends. Like, I literally feel like I could call you, Kirsten, and be there's this I don't know what this is.
We are. Yeah. No,
I know.
We are.
That's
like,
what
we're besties.
I know, but that's what I mean. I'm like, but you don't find that very often. I just really feel like I stepped into my world, like my soul tribe. Like, I'm gonna start crying. I really do. Like, I mean, Joe knows so much about me, and I just feel like I have a friend. And then just his aligned masculinity is so, and then you're like, I could go on and on, but this isn't sorry, keep going.
No, that's great. I will always be happy when people want to talk about how great we are. No.
I will talk about it. You know me.
I know, but really, and thank you so much for recognizing that and for feeling that. And that's been the pursuit in Coach Grid, is having come from that space, Kirsten and I as well, and going through a lot of those similar emotions and experiences and getting to those points of overwhelm where I don't think I can keep moving forward because there's this part of it that I don't understand. And when you have one space where you can execute on everything, then those blocks that used to maybe take 6 months or take you on a completely different route oftentimes can be resolved in just minutes. And that's been really important to build that holistic space for that. So thank you for recognizing that.
Can I add one more thing?
Please, yeah.
You guys are so great about pivoting. Like, literally, when I was going the coaching route, and I started at a new hospice company, and within 2 weeks, they had switched my roles and responsibility 5 times. And I'm like, this doesn't work for me. I was so stressed out, and I'm like, I cannot do this. And I called Joe before I even quit, and I'm like, can you give me some direction? And he's like, well, I was going to mention this, the Coach Grid, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well,
it's exactly what I needed.
Thank you. And I think that's that experience, speaking to that, oftentimes I know, again, having the benefit of doing this so many times as we've done, it can feel really isolating and it can feel really scary.
Yes.
When you're feeling called to this greater creation and you know that there's this part that you're really good at. And this is one of the core principles for Kirsten and I in creating Coach Grid is that we want the people that come into this space to stay in the zone of genius. And if you've ever heard of the book, The Big Leap, he talks a lot about the zone of genius, that if you can be there and that we can build everything around you that you don't have to be at, then it's great for everybody. It's great for the world. It's great for you.
Yes.
It's great for your pocketbook. It's great for the clientele, like just across the board.
Yeah.
So I love that. Well, in this, as we've moved forward and we've been able to work together in these ways, you've been cultivating this physical product, and you actually brought a few here.
I did.
So I'd love if you want to kind of just quickly run us through, and obviously we'll give people a website to go where they get more information on it and kind of drop in deeper on the informational space. But just to kind of speak to what it is, and in that grief world, what it's designed to do. Just
Okay.
the Reader's Digest version.
So at the bottom, let me pull out this. This actually came from a mutual coaching client, friend of Rose and I's. But at the bottom so on the way bottom is the story is how these grief boxes came about, and I've dedicated them to some of my hospice patients and their families, and then of course my 8 little humans. So this is a certificate of permission, and I had a client one time that her mother died going through the program that I was facilitating, and she's like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this next year, Shawnee. And I'm like, however you need to. And I typed up this super generic, like, certificate of permission and basically said the same thing on here. Well, she took this and framed it. She loved it so much because she looked at it and it basically, I'll just read it. This certificate gives you permission to get through this grief process however you need to and however long it takes you. It is important to remember that grief comes in many forms and does not look the same for everyone. There's not a wrong or right way to process grief. Grief is a very individual and personal journey without any specific timeline. It is not linear. May you use this permission slip to allow yourself to fully lean into this process, knowing that your journey is uniquely yours and is as you heal. So this is just giving people permission. And I've learned with so many people, you give somebody permission. I was working with this lady one time. And you guys know me, I go off on tangents. I was working with this lady one time, and she was LDS faith-based, and she was trying to decide if she wanted to go to church or not. And I said, have you ever and she went to church because her parents were in the ward and all the things. And I said, have you ever just stayed home because you've wanted to? And I said, I would encourage you to do that. But I gave her permission to stay home from church, and it was a great experience for her, right. But nobody had ever given her permission to do what she wanted to on Sunday. And so it was really such a great thing. So the certificate of permission, I feel like it gives people really the permission to be like, I get to do this however I want, because everybody deals with grief differently. I had a girlfriend one time, her dad died, and she ran away for a month, turned off her cell phone, and her sister-in-law, who worked at the same place we did, was super irritated. Why? Because Linda was like, I don't know why Angel ran away. I probably shouldn't use the names, but why she just ran away. And I'm like, well, do you think Angel would be mad at you if you came back to work the next day after your dad died?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So everybody processes it differently. And that's what I wanted to give people permission to do.
Absolutely.
So
I think that's really, and I want to leave some mystery here.
Okay.
So that they need to go to your site to get the full, experience of what's all included in there. But I think that
trust me, you want to go to the site. Go check it out.
That certificate of permission is a really great example, though, as a coach. If you aren't really well versed in grief and you have somebody that's going through that this becomes a tool for you to help your clientele.
Yes.
And there's digital resources that come with this as well.
Yes.
And different places where they can go to continue to, dive deeper into their own education. And so, thank you for bringing that in here. And
that's okay. If there's anything else you want to know about, I'll tell you some of the subliminals if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
So if you notice, and this is just so people have the awareness around it. So there's a gratitude journal in here. And if you notice, it's on a black one, because when you think of death, I'm trying to subliminally reverse the mindset of like, black is not necessarily like dark and deep. Like, so the gratitude is in a very big format. And then the release journal to like do write and burns with is just very small and plain. So like, so you're not putting that much energy into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as bold. So that's one of the things. And then I'm also an EFT certified practitioner. And so the 5 stages of grief that's in here, I do EFT. I'm going to make videos for the EFT to process through grief as well. And if you know anything about emotional freedom technique, there's lots of research studies showing how well it works for grief, especially.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Shawnee. And again, I guess we'll just say it right here and we can put it in the show notes.
Okay.
beapositivebuilder.com.
Yes.
Is the website.
Yes.
And when you go there, you're going to be able to learn about the grief box. If you want one, you're going to be able to purchase it right there as well.
Yes.
We have some pretty good confidence in the tech that's going to work for you.
I do too. I don't know where I'm looking, but yes, I do too.
Right. And then I think there are so many people, I mean, really always, but especially in the world that we're in right now, that are processing probably a lot of unfamiliar kinds of grief and not knowing that it even is that, compared to, like you said, the death of a loved one or divorce or some of those things. So highly recommend you go there, check it out, see what else is in there. It's a beautiful offering.
Thank you.
And I know for myself, as I've worked with men, already using a lot of that in the ways that I've worked with them as well. And because men, the narrative of like, we can't express is very, very prevalent there.
Yes. So sad.
Again, thank you, Shawnee. For those of you that are watching here, if you have places where you're wanting to transition, if you are overwhelmed by the tech, if you're not sure where to go to really get the full build out of your business, go to coachgrid.com, book a call with us. We'd love to help you do that today.